All right, today we are diving head first into the absolutely epic saga of Norse mythology. And I mean the whole thing. This isn't just a random collection of stories, it's a complete cycle, from a vast, empty void all the way to a fiery, world-ending apocalypse called Ragnarok. Just try to picture it for a second. You're standing there at the end of the world. This is Ragnarok, the twilight of the gods. Odin, the All-Father, is charging straight into the jaws of a wolf the size of a mountain. Thor, the god of thunder, is locked in a deadly fight with a serpent that literally encircles the entire world. A giant made of fire is swinging a flaming sword, and it's scorching the very fabric of reality. This is total, absolute annihilation.
So you have to ask, right? How did it ever come to this? I mean, how could a universe filled with these incredibly powerful gods be fated to fall apart in such a spectacular, tragic way? Well, to really understand the end of everything, we've got to go all the way back to the beginning. Okay, let's set the scene. Before there were any gods, before humanity, before anything at all, there was, well, nothing. Just a huge, silent, gaping void. This void had a name, Ginnungagap. And it wasn't just empty space. It was this cosmic chasm stuck between two primal opposing forces. To the south, you had Muspelheim, a realm of unbearable fire and heat. And way to the north, you had Niflheim, a place of endless ice, fog, and darkness. The stage was set for something incredible to happen. And this is where things get really wild. As the burning embers from Muspelheim drifted north and met the ice from Niflheim, the ice began to melt. And out of that primordial slush, two beings were formed. First was Ymir, the ancestor of all giants. And the second? A giant cosmic cow named Audhumla. So, while Ymir drank her milk to survive, Audhumla started licking the salty ice blocks nearby. And over 3 days, she licked a man completely free of the ice, Buri, the very first of the gods. Now, Buri's grandsons, you might have heard of one of them, Odin, saw that this giant Ymir was a creature of pure chaos, so they did something unthinkable. They killed him. And right here, you see this core Norse idea of creation coming from destruction. They basically recycled every single part of Ymir's body to build the world. His flesh, that became the earth, the realm we call Midgard. His blood filled the planet to become the oceans. His bones were pushed up to form the mountains, and his skull was hoisted up to create the dome of the sky. And what holds this entire brand new universe together? That would be Yggdrasil, the great world tree. It's this massive cosmic ash tree that acts like the spine of the universe. Its roots and branches reach into all of existence, connecting the 9 different realms that the gods had just created. So, the world is built. Now it needs to be populated. But as you're about to see, not all gods are the same. And the conflicts that kicked off right at the beginning would set the stage for everything that was to come. So in this new cosmos, you've basically got 2 rival families of gods. On one side, you have the Aesir, living up in Asgard. These are the gods of war, power, and social order, and their chief is Odin. On the other side, you have the Vanir, from Vanaheim. They're gods of nature, fertility, and magic. Now, eventually, these 2 clans went to a brutal war. It was so bad that it ended in a truce, where they exchanged hostages, who then integrated into the other family. So they essentially merged, creating this unified pantheon that was way more powerful. And leading this whole divine crew is Odin, the All-Father. But his defining feature isn't just his power, it's his absolutely relentless, all-consuming quest for knowledge. Think about it. He literally tore out his own eye for just 1 drink from the well of wisdom. He stabbed himself with a spear and hung from the world tree for 9 agonizing days and nights just to understand the secrets of the runes. This tells you everything you need to know about their worldview. Wisdom isn't a gift, it's a prize you have to earn through extreme suffering and sacrifice. And then you've got Thor. If Odin is all about cunning and wisdom, Thor is about pure, overwhelming strength. He's the god of thunder, the champion of Asgard, and, importantly, the protector of humanity down in Midgard. His hammer, Mjolnir, wasn't just a weapon. It was the ultimate defense against the constant threat of the giants. And of course, you can't talk about the Norse gods without talking about Loki. He is the ultimate agent of chaos, the trickster. He's actually a giant by birth, but he's also Odin's blood brother, which makes him the ultimate wild card. Sometimes his clever schemes get the gods out of impossible situations, but it's his mischievous, often malicious nature that plants the very seeds of their eventual destruction. So here's the crucial thing to understand. The gods' doom wasn't some random accident. It was prophesied. And many of the key players in that final destruction, they were born from Loki himself.
With a giantess, Loki had 3 monstrous children, each with a terrifying destiny. First, there was Fenrir, a wolf that grew to an unimaginable size, fated to one day kill Odin. Then there was Jormungandr, the Midgard serpent. The gods threw him into the sea, but he just kept growing until he was big enough to circle the entire world and bite his own tail. He's destined for a final fatal showdown with Thor. And finally, there's Hel, a daughter who was half living woman, half rotting corpse. She was banished and made the ruler of the dead. The gods knew the prophecies. They knew exactly what these children were supposed to do. So, in a desperate move to try and cheat fate, they tried to lock them all away. They threw the serpent in the ocean, they banished Hel to the underworld, and they managed to trick the wolf Fenrir into being bound by an unbreakable magical ribbon. But here's the great irony in Norse mythology. The more you fight your fate, the more you ensure it happens. All their actions did was guarantee that one day these children would get their bitter revenge.
And that brings us right back to where we started. All the prophecies, all the betrayals, all the schemes, they all funnel down to one single point: the final world-ending battle for the fate of the cosmos. The signs of the end would be impossible to miss. First, something called the Fimbul Winter, 3 solid years of winter with no summer in between. It causes famine, chaos, and war among all humans. Then, the earth itself will shake so violently that all bonds will be broken. Fenrir will finally snap his chains. Jormungandr will rise from the ocean, causing massive floods. And from all corners of the 9 realms, armies of gods, giants, and the dead will march to a great plain for one last battle, just before the fire giant Surtur sets the entire world on fire. And this right here shows you the grim, fatalistic heart of the whole story. The gods go into this battle knowing exactly who they're going to fight and knowing they're going to lose. Odin charges Fenrir, and he's eaten. Thor finally kills the world's serpent, but he only manages to take 9 steps before he dies from its venom. Loki and the god Heimdall, who hate each other, have their final duel and kill one another. It's a symphony of doom, the tragic fulfillment of a prophecy where almost nobody walks away. But what happens after the world burns and sinks beneath the waves? Is that it? Is it just over? Well, this is where our sources kind of disagree. Some of the old poems end right there, in complete and total darkness. But others talk about a new, beautiful green world rising from the sea, where a few surviving gods and 2 human beings will start everything all over again. A lot of experts think this rebirth part might have been a later addition, maybe influenced by the arrival of Christianity.
But whether the story ends in fire or with a fresh start, one thing is absolutely certain. These ancient tales didn't die with the Vikings. Their legacy is all around us, woven right into the fabric of our modern world. I mean, really think about it. You've probably said Thor's name this week without even realizing it. Thursday is just Thor's Day. The entire genre of modern fantasy, from Tolkien's dwarves, elves, and wizards in The Lord of the Rings, owes a massive debt to these myths. And today, characters like Thor and Loki are global pop culture icons, thanks to comics, blockbuster movies, and incredible video games. So as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with this final thought. The real core of Norse mythology, it isn't just about magic hammers and giant monsters. It's about what you do when you're faced with a known, certain, unavoidable doom. The gods knew Ragnarok was coming. They knew they were fated to lose. And they fought anyway. So, what do you think? Is this ultimately a story about being trapped by an inescapable fate? Or is it a story about the profound, incredible courage it takes to face it head on?